written by Kira Fried. Focus question: why is Labor Day important? Back to school. In the United States, Labor Day is the first Monday in September. It's time to enjoy the last rest of summer before the school year starts. For many American children, many businesses and all government offices are closed for the day. Some people get the day off work and might throw a party. Labor Day isn't just a day to take it easy, however. It's also a day that the U.S. government set aside to recognize and contributions and the achievement of American workers, past and present. To understand what Labor Day honors, important to learn about the labor movement. This term refers to an organized effort by workers to improve their economic and social conditions by joining together machines and workers. During the Industrial Revolution, new technology allowed many jobs once done by hand to be done faster and more easily by machine. Many farmers began using machines to plant and harvest crops instead of increasing profit. But doing so put many small family farmers out of business. The new machine also allowed factories to produce cloth and other items much lower cost than small home businesses. Because of these changes, many people live in rural areas and small towns, move to cities and went to work in factories. Tough jobs. Many employers in this factory kept expenses low for their business to make more money. They paid workers low wages for what was often dangerous work. Recent immigrants and formerly enslaved people were very vulnerable to these employers and more likely to work in unsafe conditions for low pay. In addition to low wages and the unsafe working conditions, many workers in the 1800s received little time off work. The United States had no daily or weekly limit on the number of hours people could work. Employers took advantage of this. The average manufacturing worker worked 100 hours a week. Workers who disliked this rule were easily fired and replaced. The labor movement began because workers wanted more of a voice in how they were treated. They wanted better pay, better hours, and safe working conditions. The child labor. The Industrial Revolution also caused increased child labor in factories. Children could run most factory machinery. They could be paid less than adults, were easier to control, and could move in tight space around machines. By the early 1800s, around 2 million children were working in mills or factories in the United States. Many were from families with little money to support them. The Industrial Revolution had run some of these families out of business. Children often held jobs before age 10, sometimes as young as 6 or 7. They worked 6 days a week, up to 18 hours each day. The families often relied on their income to survive. With little time for rest and no time for school or play, many children became ill from the dangerous working conditions and long hours. Workers joined together. Over time, workers started to join together to improve conditions at their jobs. They formed labor unions, organized worker associations to help protect and expand workers' rights in the workplace. The goal of any union is to bargain with employers on behalf of its members. Unions negotiate for such things as better hours, wages, working conditions, and benefits. They sometimes cause strikes to protest unfair situations or to give workers a strong hand in negotiations with the employee. The first labor unions, founded in 1800, were in theory for all workers. Later, they split into separate groups for different job trades. However, racial and gender lines often separate jobs and trades. This led to a secret labor movement. For example, one labor group tries to fix a union for professors who ran fixed machines. Unable to create an integral union, they settled for a white-only union. In 1902, black workers make up only 3% of total union membership in the United States. In 1869, President Ulysses S. Grant announced that the government employees would be guaranteed an 8-hour workday and a stable wage. He also encouraged workers in the private sector to seek out the same legal guarantee. The new 8-hour workday was not popular with many employers. Large number of them refused to cooperate as the unionists assigned the 8-hour workday to law for all workers except those working on farms. On May 4, 1886, 80,000 people on strike and their supporters gathered at Chicago's Haymarket Square to protest workers' lack of cooperation with the law, and police officers used heavy force throughout the rally. That event became known as the Haymarket Affair. Women were mostly left out of the early labor movement. Some labor activities wanted a family wage paid high enough that a husband could support a whole family and women could stay at home. At the turn of the century, women were fighting for voting rights and fair working conditions. One significant step forward for women's rights was when the tax workers in the New York City organized the Ladies' Garment Workers Union. President Franklin D. Roosevelt listened to the law. Wait a minute. President Franklin D. Roosevelt listened to the labor activities. As a result, Congress backed the Fair Labor Standards Act (FLSA). Its purpose was to prevent employers from taking advantage of workers through low wages and poor working conditions. The act limited the work week to 44 hours, changed to 40 hours in 1940. Also set the minimum wage. The lowest wage employers were allowed to pay their workers. The act also said that workers had to be paid extra when they work longer hours than usual on overtime. With overtime, each hour and 40 worked in a single work week is paid as rate of 1.5 times of worker usually hour rate. Overtime paid was supposed to discourage employers from overworking employees and encourage employers to hire more workers to avoid having to pay overtime. The act also established safety regulations in the workplace and banned most kinds of child labor. It set the minimum age as 16 during school hours, 14 for certain after-school jobs, and 18 for dangerous jobs. Honoring workers. The Labor Day was first celebrated in New York City in 1882. The Central Labor Union of New York organized a celebration to give all working citizens a day off. In 1887, Oregon became the first state to pass a law making Labor Day an official holiday. 30 more states passed similar laws before the U.S. government made Labor Day an official nationwide holiday in 1894. Canada also celebrates Labor Day on the first Monday in September. More than 60 other countries around the world instead celebrate International Workers' Day on May 1st. The inspiration for International Worker Day was like May 4th, 1886. Haymarket Affair in Chicago like Labor Day. International Workers' Day is a day for people to celebrate workers' labor activities, educate people about their rights, and work to stop unfair labor practices. A better future. Today, the labor movements continue to improve the ways workers are treated and paid. The COVID-19 pandemic, which arrived in the United States in early 2020, brought attention to essential healthcare, food service, and retail workers. To support these workers, many have called for a higher federal minimum wage. In 2022, the United States raised the minimum wage for federal workers to $15 an hour. For non-federal workers, minimum wage stayed at $7.25 an hour. On Labor Day, take a moment to honor workers who build better life for themselves and the communities. Connections. Writing. How did the law passed by Congress in 1938 change the lives of American workers? When an article as a newspaper journalist from what time to inform readers about this law. Social studies. Research a historic figure of labor movement. Write a biography about that person, including the impact they had on the lives of American workers.
Good job! Awesome! You click on. Wow! Click on. Look at you go! A perfect.